Hi everybody, welcome to Silhouette with Class. I wanted to go ahead and create a video on weed settings. So on the bottom, I'm going to click on the right side, the A and B for weed settings. I've already have horizontal clicked, so notice that I have a line that goes all the way across. This is a cut line. Now in order to get these horizontal lines, anything in your image needs to be spaced so that it allows a horizontal line to be created. So let me group this real quick. I'm going to move it up and notice how my weed line will move. So now I have two weed lines. I have one above and one below. If I click on vertical, notice how that line disappears. Okay, vertical, I want only the lines to be going up and down. So in order to do that, again, anything that's in the path or in the way of a potential cut line will not appear until you move all those objects out of the way. So notice what happens when I move everything over. Okay. Now notice here how I didn't get a cut line. That is because these two designs or parts are in some way intersecting. So as soon as I move it over, okay, I get that cut line. Horizontal and vertical. So H and B will give me both horizontal and vertical lines. Now notice I left that image there, so I still get my horizontal line, but I will not get any vertical lines until I move other objects out of the way. Okay. So if I do this here, notice how I get vertical lines in between letters as well. Recursive. Okay. Look what happens with recursive. So recursive allows any parts that are separate, not connected to other letters, not intersecting in any way. Let me ungroup this so you can see how, if I move, let me see. I just want to show you how letter A is in the way of that M. Okay, so anything like that, it'll do it, but it's going to be more of a puzzle. So you're going to have a little bit of a difficulty trying to make sure that you line those the way you want it in your image. All right, so it's helpful, but at the same time, it can cause more work when you are getting ready to either weed or I'm sorry, not weed, but finalize your design. Okay, I like to undo because it helps me remember what my image was like when I started. All right, only shapes on media. So that means that the cut lines will only be on the matte space. If I move words out and I unclick, okay, it's going to create cut lines even on objects that are off of the mat. Okay, so anything off the mat, when I click off the only shapes on media, it's going to create those cut lines on the outer spaces. Another way that you can create cut lines without having to use the weed settings is by creating a box around your images or words. So if I just create a box like this around my words, it'll add those extra cut lines that I want. Here might be cutting a little close, but okay, we can try it. So once you have those selected, all of those lines will cut for you. It kind of helps with your easing your frustrations of weeding. All right, so you can kind of figure out more or less how you can get that word to fit in those boxes or things like that. If you don't want to use boxes, still want to use some kind of cut line in a certain way or an angle, you can do that as well by just drawing them out. But you have to be careful because sometimes they might not cut all the way. Okay. So things like that, I mean, it's probably easier to just make a big box around them. Okay, one more thing. Let's see. Aside from cut lines, right here, I did want to point this out. Notice how my font has that little section in there that's not entirely straight. So you do sometimes have to play with things like that in the fonts. Just depends on how they were created. Weld. And now it looks clean. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video. I just do want to point out that I did use Buena Vista font by Almira, and you can find that font on creativefabrica.com.